Right, good morning everyone. This morning I'm drafting out some skinnies out of our cows because there's a few that need a bit more condition. So these three here are fats. Pretty hard to tell. And then over here we've got the skinnies. There's only a few, and I've got a few of the older cows, like number 66. She's a bit of an older cow. But there's a few, I think they're second calvers that are a bit light. I stood them off last night, so they haven't had a feed, so they do look a bit worse. But I'm deciding whether I'm going to stick them in with the heifers or if I'm going to put them on in their own mob and get a few out of the heifers and have a mob that I feed a bit of palm kernel to. So I'm yet to decide. Beautiful day here though today. So now we're going to just pick a few more out of this lot. Here's a fat. There are a few marginal ones. She probably could be a skinny, but she's not too bad. So I'm only trying to pick the worst skinnies, because once you go through and draft out some skinnies, you go back and look at your fats and you'll find more skinnies because you've got nothing to compare them to. So they could all do with a bit of condition, but I'm just trying to help a few out and also even up the mob. So we've sort of got two mobs. So we're going to have a mob of 140 something and then a mob of around 100. So 100 are the skinnier ones and the heifers, and the 140 is the fats. So normally, so now's the beginning of June, so we've technically got 2 months till we start calving. But so on our old farm we will put on a lot of condition over that time because there would only be 170, 170 cows on 120 hectares plus what's at the runoff. So they've got plenty of area and grass to eat to put on that weight. Whereas we're stocked a bit heavier here. I think we're 2.5 or 2.6 through the winter, so there's a bit more pressure on the farm. So we can still put weight on the cows, it's just going to take a little bit more work. But I'm not too worried. It will happen. It's just we don't have a support block like what we had at our last job. So the point I was trying to make before is the stocking rate on our last farm was quite low through the winter. So it was easy to put weight on, whereas the stocking rate is sitting where it normally would be through the peak milking time, so it's harder to put weight on the cows, I think. But this farm is a flatter farm, so it grows more grass. But we're also coming out of a drought where there's heaps of grass on our old farm and not as much on this farm, but it is growing, it is getting there. Sometimes I find it hard to explain things or find the right words to explain it, so sometimes you just got to bear with me, but I will get there. So there goes the last, what we're calling fats, and here's our skinny mob. No, they're not really skinny. They haven't had a feed. They're just our lighter cows. I shouldn't really call them our skinnies or our fats, but that's what we are calling them. So yeah, we're going to put these ones here down with the heifers, and we're going to go and lock up those ones up there in their break. We'll go and set up and get on with it. Perfect here, but we're moving the heifers. And then we'll bring down the skinnies. So this here is some of the annual that was drilled. Both these paddocks have got annual in. So currently the heifers are on this paddock. It's quite a big paddock. But you can see there's quite a bit of grass in there, so it has been growing. This paddock here was the first paddock I did with Gypstart, or gibberellic acid. It's really growing too, so we are growing grass. It does recover quite quickly because it's quite a flat farm, flat rolling farm. So in a couple hours, maybe 2 hours, I'll come up and we'll take these cows back and we'll give them some new grass. They can have the other half of the paddock. They had the first half yesterday. Right, so here are our calves. Got 47 calves here, and there's 2 steers, which are my parents. This runoff is 20 acres, I think, and then there's another 20 acres between 2 properties on the other side of the road. So it's a good little block. So once again, it's flat, good growing ground. Yeah, perfect for the calves. Feeding out hay. We make a bit of hay down here in the summer, so it gets fed out to them now. We normally would have hay at home, but it's already been fed out, and also we'd have silage, but we've only got palm kernel. It's the only thing that's left. Don't think we can get. So yeah. So this is leased land. All the land down here, runoff is leased, and it's not we don't own it. So I think they're looking good. They're a little bit light, but it's been a tough year for everyone, so they'll put on a bit of weight. Got a couple of small ones. Number 29, I remember her back when we were rearing them as calves. She's a bit smaller, but they look a bit fluffy, but that's alright. Alright, carry on.
Behind the horn.
That was their new grass yesterday. They did a good job at grazing it. Happy with that. So I'll leave them on there for a couple hours and come back. Come on! Come on! Come on! There you go. Come on, girls. So part of the reason why I give the cows another break in the morning and then put them on the new grass is so that they've had something in their stomach, so that there's a lot less risk of them getting nitrate poisoning by having a feed before. So they've had a feed before this, come down, graze the new grass for 2 hours, and then they're going back up, and I've actually given them another break so they've got something to go on to. So today they've had a pretty good feed because they've essentially they've had 3 feeds. There you go.